In this lesson, we're going to learn and practice the pronunciation of 15 tricky words at the upper intermediate level. This video is especially useful if you are an intermediate, upper intermediate, or an advanced student. But even beginners will find a lot of useful information here. So let's practice. The first thing we're going to do is to practice these 15 words on their own. I'll give you clues and tips in terms of how to pronounce them, and after that we're going to put them into sentences and finish the video with a little story. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first word on our list is the name of the country. How would you pronounce it? Listen and check. Egypt. Egypt. Are you one of the students who has a problem pronouncing this long E sound at the beginning of this word? It's a very common difficulty, but all you need to do is to remember to say a long E at the beginning of this word. Egypt. The next word on our list is a very complicated one because of how it's spelled. When students see A-U-G-H-T, they're really confused and don't know how to say it. In this case, A-U-G-H-T is pronounced exactly in the same way as the word out. Drought. Drought. Very good. Let's go to the next one. Well, this one is the opposite in the meaning to the word drought. And the double O inside this word is a real trap for learners of English. How would you say it? Listen and check. Flood. Flood. Was this a surprise for you? There are just two words in English where double O is pronounced as a short A, and they are flood and blood. Today we're focusing on flood, so just remember that the double O here is pronounced in exactly the same way as the vowel inside just and but. Flood. Now the next word we're going to look at is one of the most commonly mispronounced words in English. For some reason, learners of English really like using this word, but there are two things you need to remember about it. First, you need to put the stress on the second syllable in this word. And the second syllable sounds very similar to the word care. It's just a long air inside, care. And then the first syllable is super short, occur, occur. It's worth remembering here that any word that comes from occur is going to maintain this pronunciation. So in the past, you're going to say occurred. The gerund is going to be occurring. And if you're talking about a noun, you'll be talking about occurrence. So just remember a long air and a very short first syllable. Now our next word is also a really complicated one, and here learners have difficulties and doubts because of what teachers tell them. There are many teachers who say that this word can only be pronounced in one way or the other way in British or American English. But that's not true anymore. We can say this word in British English in two ways. As schedule, which used to be the kind of traditional British pronunciation of this word, schedule, or schedule. I'm actually one of those people who speak British English and pronounce this word as schedule. This is what used to be known as the typical American pronunciation of this word. But it's very clear that these days British speakers pronounce this word as schedule or as schedule. So both of these pronunciations are absolutely fine. Now this word is quite difficult to pronounce correctly because of the ending. We pronounce it as jul, jul, just as the beginning of the word Julia. Schedule, schedule, or schedule, schedule. Up to you how you're going to pronounce it. Over to our next word. Now, how would you say it? A lot of students are having problems here because they forget that there is a silent letter inside. Which one would you say is the silent one? Listen and check. Cruise, cruise. Which one is the silent letter? It's the I inside. We don't say it. And a lot of students have a problem here. Don't pronounce the I. Say Cruise in exactly the same way as the name of the actor, Tom Cruise. So cruise. And as we're talking about cruises, let's have a look at this word. Now, how would you say it? Think especially about the first vowel here. How would you say it? Again, let's listen and check. Agency, agency. So that first A is pronounced as, well, an A, exactly in the same way as the letter A in the English alphabet. Agency. So now you shouldn't have any doubts about how to say this word. Wait, actually, this one is another word on our list today. Did you hear how I just said it? Listen again. Doubt. Am I pronouncing all the letters you can see here? Again, there's a silent letter in this word, and it is the letter B, ladies and gentlemen. We don't pronounce the letter B inside doubt. If you have any doubts about that, you can check that in a dictionary. Doubt. Let's move on to the next one. And again, this is one of these words that's really difficult to say because, guess what? There's a silent letter inside. Which one is it this time? Listen and check. Certain. Certain. Did you hear how I pronounced the last four letters in this word? Listen again. Certain. Certain. Which one is the silent letter? Again, it's the letter A. You don't say certain. This is a frequent mistake that students make. You need to say certain. Certain. In fact, this pronunciation of P-A-I-N can be applied to words like mountain or fountain. We also pronounce these words without that A in the ending. So certain, mountain, fountain. Let's move on to the next one. Now this is a really short word, but it's causing problems for many students. So the question is, how would you pronounce the letter I inside this word? Listen and check. We say it as mild. Mild. Lots of students find this quite strange that this word is pronounced with an I, but this is exactly what you need to do. There's no way around it. You need to say I, mild. A few more words to go. Let's have a look at this adjective. This is one of the most commonly mispronounced words by learners of English. And it's no wonder because it's really confusing. How would you say it yourself? Let's listen and check again. Reliable. Reliable. So what you need to remember about this word is that it comes from the verb rely, and it maintains its pronunciation, rely. And then the ending is really, really short. Again, lots of students have a problem here because they see A-B-L-E at the end and they want to say able. But no English adjective with this ending is pronounced as able. We pronounce these A-B-L-E endings as able. Able. So we connect rely and able with a little vowel in between. Reliable. Reliable. Difficult, but definitely worth remembering. All right, well, let me give you another word now that's really worth remembering. How would you say it? Well, it's a word that a lot of people use these days, right? If something is cool, a lot of people say, how would you say it? Awesome. Awesome. Really, really difficult. Yeah, the AW at the beginning of this word is simply pronounced as a long O. Not O, O. Awesome. So whenever you want to use this word, just remember about that long O sound at the beginning. Awesome. Okay, 3 more words to go. The first one is a really, really complicated one. And it's a word that's super useful in business English, but it's also true that we use it in everyday English more and more. So how would you say it? This word comes from French, and it has maintained a bit of its French pronunciation. We say it as entrepreneur. Entrepreneur. The big difficulty here is pronouncing this word with the stress on the last syllable, entrepreneur, and pronouncing that initial E as O, O, entrepreneur. Very, very difficult. Try again. Entrepreneur. 2 more words to go. Now this one is an interesting one, because in here we've got 1 way of pronouncing it in British English and 2 ways of pronouncing it in American English. The only way you can say this word in British English is to pronounce it as root, exactly in the same way as the root of a tree. Root. In American English, you can also say route, but the international pronunciation of this word is going to be root with a long U. If you're having any doubts about the name of this device, it's going to be router in British English and router or router in American English. Now our last word today is pretty basic, but even advanced students make mistakes pronouncing it. Let me guide you through how you should say it. First of all, remember that there are no tables in this word. While you see the word table or able, we don't pronounce it this way because it's an unstressed ending. We simply say able, in exactly the same way as we pronounce the ending in the word reliable. Did you remember that I said that no adjective ending in able in English is pronounced as able? It's always able. So in here, we need to say table. And then the first syllable here contains the short a. Again, the same sound that we have in just or but. So come. Oh, and there's another very important thing you need to remember about this word. It's only 3 syllables long. Listen and repeat. Come, fte, bull. Comfortable. Comfortable. Well, I hope you're feeling comfortable now and you're ready to practice these words in some sentences. I'll show you each sentence first for you to be able to read it, and then you'll listen and check if you were correct. Let's start. Droughts occur more often than floods in Egypt. I doubt the agency will schedule another cruise. We need to be certain the route is reliable. The entrepreneur from Egypt didn't feel comfortable. This mild curry floods your mouth with awesome flavor. What a delicious last sentence. Now, before we move on to the final part of this lesson, I wanted to let you know that if you'd really like to improve your pronunciation, you should consider joining my online learning community, Your English Upgrade. Your English Upgrade is a wonderful place if you want to improve your pronunciation and other skills, and join me learning English on one of the 2 weekly webinars that are available to any member of the community. When you become a member of Your English Upgrade, you immediately gain access to pronunciation hacks, a full pronunciation hacks course that I've designed that will help you sound better and more confident in English. And to push you even further, there are 2 weekly challenges for pronunciation practice that will really make you improve the way you speak. And there are other courses on the platform that are just waiting for you to click on and improve your English step by step. And, of course, you can download all the PDFs and audio practice files that go with this video and any other video that I post on YouTube. The link to the community is in the description. I'll see you there. And now back to the video. Let's have a look at all the words we were learning today in a broader context. Let's practice them in a story. Put your headphones on and try to read with me. After every sentence, you'll have a bit of time to try to practice the words you got wrong. Let's go. An entrepreneur from Egypt decided to start a travel agency offering Nile cruise packages. He had no doubt that the trips would be popular because the weather was usually mild and the scenery was awesome. However, challenges would sometimes occur. For instance, there could be a sudden flood or a long drought, both affecting the river levels. He had no doubt that careful planning would make the travelers feel safe and comfortable, no matter the conditions. Well done! If you've got that far in the video and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, that'd be a good time to do so. And if you're already in the family of subscribers, make sure you hit that like button and let YouTube know that this video is one worth watching. If you still have energy to practice more pronunciation, watch one of these 2 videos. You're going to love them. I'll see you there.